Hey, hello. Hey, I wanted to do another UI kind of update video, show you guys where I am, see if it helps give you any ideas for how you want to set up. So I've been doing quite a few dungeons, and then also a little bit of raiding too, so I could see, kind of take a look and see, hey, what spells do I need to track in this new talent tree setup? And it's pretty minimal, right? But we still need to be tracking some stuff. And then also, hey, how am I going to make sure I can tell how much health I have and track health of my target without having to go stick these target frames real high? Because, of course, we lost weak auras, right? Where I was doing a lot of tracking of this stuff before. And then also, how am I going to track, my utility cooldowns and stuff? Because that was harder too. I tried taking a look at all the different cooldown manager mods that have come out, and I tried majority of them actually, and they are pretty tough to do right now because Blizzard's API is pretty locked in. I think the authors are having a lot of trouble getting everything to work that we would like to work, right? So you get some errors, and then some of them are kind of tough to work with too. So after testing out quite a bit, I decided we're going to stick with Blizzard's cooldown manager and work with what we got for now. Because I'm assuming that Blizzard will add some more functionality to those frames, because they're pretty poor right now. You can't anchor them to grow from the left or the right. It's just sort of centered. But if you say you had, I've got this is my essential cooldowns. So I got 3 spells I'm monitoring on there. But if on the next tune I decide I want to put 4 up there, well, it throws all the spacing off, and then it'll start overlapping into other stuff instead of just staying where it is, and then additional ones will just grow off to the right, right? No, that's not how it is. And then the other thing is Blizzard's things are not actually growing, right? So weak auras used to be able to do that, where it would start, like say on the left-hand side here, and as more spells come up that need to be displayed, it would just start growing them out to the right. But Blizzard's doesn't work that way. It's just right where it was. Very much like you just had an action bar up there, right? Which kind of what I feel like they've done. There is more functionality in these frames than just that, but that's okay. We're going to use them, and I have set this up so that so far I've been able to use this same setup we're looking at across all my tunes to cover what they need to watch for and do. So, but we'll take another look at that in a bit. The other thing that I really wanted was to be able to monitor my health and my target's health pretty easily without clogging up the entire screen with these player and target frames that you can put up here a little higher, but then it ends up capturing your clicks too, and they're pretty big, and they were designed like 20 years ago, so I don't know that they're easy to visually parse. I mean, if you're in combat and you're trying not to stand in the many things we're not supposed to stand in, right? You're trying to track your target. So you go look at your player health frame, make sure you've got health, right? And I guess you see the bar going down a little bit, but of this entire frame, it's only that little bar that you're looking for all the time, right? And you can do the personal resource display if you want, which is really ugly and has no customization at all, but I didn't like that. So what I had in weak auras was these text frames here that show a simple percentage number of your health, and then it's got your resources here too if you want to display it. For the mage it doesn't matter, but on your healer it does, right? And we do have a frame here that shows your pet health too, which is helpful now that we have our water elemental out, right? And then we can also see the target health percentage. So if I go target this guy over here, we can see he's at 100%. So I wrote the add-on that is producing all this, and I'll link to it in the description. The add-on also will put the name of my target right above my head too. And I like that because, say I target myself, I've also put in the add-on the ability to move the target cast bar off of here so that we can maybe throw a cast and it's right there. And that's how I have that all set up. So I got my target name there, I got their cast bar here, and then I can see my interrupt right here off my utility cooldown bar, see if it's ready to use. All right, I'll take a quick peek at the edit mode here. You can see, yep, I got my track buffs up there. So we're tracking Thermal Void, and we're tracking Frostfire Empowerment, and we're tracking freezing stacks on target. You know, really feels to me like this whole cooldown manager is only half-baked, because I'm positive that these spells keep changing order, and sometimes some disappear that I know I put on there and I got to go back and re-add them. And there are very few options here. In the beta, I did see you have the ability to link some of your setups here to different specs, but I don't think that's here live yet that I've seen. But I'm pretty sure I had Thermal Void, for instance, showing up before. So Frostfire Empowerment's cool. But when we're hitting our target, we're really tracking those freezing stacks if you're playing Spell Slinger for sure. I don't care too much about it on Frostfire, but that's okay. We'll keep it up there too. And then Thermal Void, we're always tracking that, because after our Brain Freeze, we want to hit Ice Lance, consume that Thermal Void. And then Frostfire Empowerment's also nice to see. One thing about Frostfire Empowerment I noticed, on this icon here is actually my Frostbolt, or Frostfire Bolt. And it works pretty well here on the cooldown manager, because when it's ready to Glacial Spike, it'll glow up like that. And when there's a Frostfire Empowerment proc, it also has a glow around the Frostfire Bolt icon. So that actually is pretty slick. Now, of course, I'm tracking my Blizzard here, and then our cooldowns that we have now is Frozen Orb and Ray of Frost, right? So that's all tracked right up here. Additional thing that I added, because I didn't want, like I said, if you stick extra buttons up here in these cooldown manager blocks, then it gets a little more unwieldy, and it starts to clog at the top of the screen, right? So what I decided to do is drop an action bar down here. And this is action bar number 6, nothing big here. But I can drop it right down here and put whatever additional spells I need to, which is only a few, and I probably don't even need to put what's displayed there, but I'm using that. This is an example, right? So that's how I set up, try to replace some of that functionality that we lost out of weak auras as far as buff tracking and procs and spells. And this setup so far has worked pretty good across all the different tunes that I've been playing. So Shaman, Warrior, Monk, DK. What I do is make sure on each of them I track, take the 3 buffs that I most want to track, or debuffs on target, and put them up there on the buff tracking. Utility cooldowns, I always have my interrupt that I can do in the middle, and then a couple of our major spells usually we want to be tracking, like for instance here on the mage, we always want to know when Flurry's up, right? Because we're going to be ripping that on cooldown. And then of course 3 of your rotational spells that are pretty key, and normally I'll put ones that can proc, where they'll do additional damage or whatever, and you want to use them next. That happens on a lot of tunes now, but I'll put them up here so I can see instantly, oh, I got a proc here, I want to rip that ability next, right? And then whatever's left over that I feel I need to put up here, I'll put on the bottom bar. But all right, well, that's what I did for my health, target name, and then how I'm tracking my different cooldowns. There are a couple tricks here that I apply. Let's go back in that edit mode. We'll do a little example to see how all that stuff is working. So on these, we are mostly going to only apply these when we're in combat, right? Because we don't want these bars here all the time. At least I don't. And we can also set this action bar to only show in combat. Now, one thing they used to have in Dragonflight, I think it was, is we could set action bars to be click through, right? So you could display them, but they wouldn't take any mouse clicks. And that was really good for maybe setting up a little block of things that you want to monitor cooldowns or whatever. For instance, there is no tracking for trinkets up here in the cooldown manager, but you can drop them on action bars so you can track your trinkets, right? So let's give a for example of that. Here, let's leave this visible for a second. Okay, that's everything. Right, so you could take your trinket. Yeah, it's an on-use trinket. You pluck it right up there so you can track the cooldown of your trinket up high. I also put them down here on my action bar too, but you know, of course, if you, that's the reason we had weak aura tracking up here, or at least I did, is you can have stuff on your action bar, but you don't want to be flicking your eyes down at the action bars all the time trying to figure out when things are ready to use. That's no good. All right. So another solution I found too, using an action bar to help display some of your stuff, and you don't want to be capturing clicks like that, right? Or giving you mouse overs you don't need. So I wrote a small add-on that will allow you to apply click-through to the bars like we used to have. So as you can see, no clicking and no mouse overs. So I'll have the links to both those add-ons here in the description. All right, let's go pull a couple mobs and kind of see how everything fits together. Oh, and let me set my player health back to in combat only. That's how I usually run it. Target health, I just leave set. And this, like I said, this add-on is my own called Text HUD, and it's available on CursePort. Okay, so we got our target selected up. I got his name and percentage. One other small add-on that I wrote, and it's very small, but it will change the text name of your target to yellow on the nameplate. So whichever one I pick, which I find is pretty handy when you're melee and you're standing in a bunch of tunes that all have or targets that all have the same name. You want to try to figure out which one you're on so you can get in range and hit it. And if they're all white, it was a little hard. So very small add-on, but okay, who do we want to pull and not die? Let's try these guys over here.
Well, what do we have here? New customers?
Good old friend Water Elemental back up since he's now our new friend.
Show him what we got on tap, Eldryer.
Why Ray of Frost cut off? I've seen some odd behavior with Ray of Frost and on the storm afterwards. I'm sure it's working as intended. Oh, this guy hits kind of hard. You know, in our Mythic Plus spec, we don't take mirror image anymore. I kind of miss it sometimes. But anyway, that was just a quick walkthrough of what I'm doing for my UI. I'm sure I'll still be tinkering with it, but I have tried nameplate mods too, because that's another area that it's kind of lacking. Doesn't feel like it's fully fleshed out yet, though it is, I think, in a better state than the cooldown manager is, to tell you the truth. Cooldown manager, it's only half done. I mean, I went there on my Pally and I looked at the spells I can put on there, and more than half the spells that are available to put on your bars, they don't even exist anymore, right? Because the talent changes. And then there on almost all the classes, there is stuff there that I would like to track that's not available to pick. So that cooldown manager needs a lot of work. The nameplates are close-ish. I mean, I don't particularly like or dislike the way they look, but they're not too much different than the threat plates I was using before. They're a little wider than I would like. But they do seem to stack more or less okay. They're okay, and they are showing buffs and debuffs above the frames okay, so they're not horrible. I did try to do a little work with the nameplates as well, which is how I got a small add-on to color the name of my target. But you know, manipulating much beyond there is pretty locked down, and I tried a couple nameplate mods out there that authors are working on, and they're trying, but it's the same thing I was saying. It's going to be hard before we can get some good customization on there. I mean, some things Blizzard should be offering by default, like the width on these bars, where this is the modern bars, or maybe this is the blocky bars. I don't know, but it's kind of big, and I guess it's okay. I'm getting used to it, but they don't need to be that big, right? It makes kind of a mess when you're in a bunch of mobs. I guess that cast bar, oh yeah, I'm using their blocky default style, which gives a little bigger cast bar. The modern is okay too. I'm not sure that I like the other default styles that much. I did try them all to see if anyone really stuck with me. And this blocky one, or the modern one, is most close to what I had set up in thread plates. But yeah, be better to have thread plates. Was really good about being able to cover the border or the health bar depending on your aggro status, because aggro is kind of a thing again, especially since I'm not taking mirror image anymore, but that's all right. Hopefully nameplates is something they'll continue to work on, but they're not far from where they need to be. Like I said, I did some work trying to dig into the nameplates to see what I could do, and while I couldn't do much because a lot of it's being protected, there are a lot of functions in there too that Blizzard has put. So they're working on it. I think their team working on that is trying their best. The cooldown manager looks like they set it up a couple months ago and just put it on hold for further development, and it's just been sitting because it hasn't changed much and it's missing a lot of stuff. But you can replace some of that functionality with using an action bar, and I do recommend, if you're going to stick an action bar up here and you don't need to click the buttons, then you can check out my add-on. It's called Bar No Clicky, and you can set click through to any of the action bars as you need. And of course, action bars are kind of cool too, because if you only want to put 2 icons up here, say for your trinket, you sure could, and then just hide the rest of the buttons. And then, like I said, I like to set that to be just in combat. All right. Oh, I guess last thing too, I didn't really cover, is I put my track bars down here. No, I don't worry too much about this. I actually don't like their track bars. I used to use vertical bars to show alter time duration, because I could put it right up here. These horizontal bars are okay, but yeah, it's all right. I used to track icy veins too. Since we don't have that cooldown, I don't have to worry about that. But I did put the alter time bars and greater invis bars down here, which is fine. If you hit alter time, then you can just kind of glance down and see, oh, that thing's about to pop or whatever. Same with greater invisibility. You can see how long you got left on it. I like the cast bar up high. That worked pretty good for me. And this here is the personal resource display, for which I've hid the health and power bars, and it's only showing combat, which means it does nothing for the mage, right? But if I'm on my monk or rogue or somebody with resources, or the DK with resources that show up under the health bars, they'll show up right here. So I'll get my runes showing right there, or my orbs for the monk. That's pretty helpful. Too bad that we don't have any scaling capabilities on the personal resource display, because I'd actually like to take those resources and maybe make them a little smaller than default, but maybe they'll be adding some of that. Like I said, some of the UI still seems unfinished for sure, especially because they took away a lot of capability of mods to help with that. But unless they relax their API, which I don't think they're going to do, or they finish some of their stuff that looks like they're working on, which I also don't think they're going to do in time for midnight. I think we may have what we have. So those are my solutions for the meantime. Just thought I'd share that with everyone. Give you guys any ideas. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And yeah, don't forget to check the description. I'll have links up to my add-ons up on CurseForge. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.